Oh man, did he shoot himself in that foot big time? Drew, man. I mean, like, I was sure that you were gonna do some bad stuff this episode, but you really scuffed it up. Hang on a second. Forgot to close the window. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway. But yeah, this was a good episode. It played out kind of like I was thinking it would. The Blue Tribe Hunapu finally lost to Koyopa, Orange Tribe, and then the personalities on that tribe finally came out, and one of the people that we've been getting a lot of confessionals about ended up getting voted out. Yeah. Alright, so jumping into the episode in detail, even though I don't know there's so much to talk about. Koyoba comes back from Tribal, and Dale's talking about being on the outs, and then the episode just kind of leaves it off. Well, it was kind of like Caleb. No, not Caleb. Hayden, back in the first Blood vs. Water, when he ended up being on the wrong decision at the Tribal Council there. I figured that not too much was going to happen to him, even though there was a possibility if Koyoba had lost that Dale would have been in trouble, but just, I don't know. I just don't think it's there, alright? Then Hunapu finds their flint. Well, whatever, not much I can say there. They found it. And then Drew honestly thinking that he could rebottle with Jeff, and the fact that it's never been used. Technically, it has been used. You guys have been touching it with your greasy fingers and all that stuff. Greasy, dirty, so. Yeah, although I'll admit I didn't really get that Jeff was being sarcastic to the tribe, but yeah, he did a good job in that area. Yeah, take that, Hinapu. So then that duel, I was actually really hoping for Josh v. Reed duel, but what we got, John vs. Jacqueline, was actually pretty interesting, and it showed that, you know, Jacqueline does have some athletic ability, and it does also explain why everyone keeps voting for Baylor, because I was just like, what does Jacqueline really have? But then what she showed here, yeah, so now it makes some more sense. John coming out on top, well, I was kind of hoping he would, because that would get Hunapu on a much higher cloud level, so when they would lose, because I was thinking ahead that they had a little more likely shot to lose, you know, it would be a little more devastating. John picking Drew to go to Exile Island, I don't really get that. It's just him doing what was basically happening in the first episode, where Jeremy talked to Keith and most of the women, but Drew and John and possibly Reed, yeah, it was Reed, were on the outs of that little discussion board, and he still hasn't revealed the motivation, even though we got to see a little bit of the test of the relationship there. Odd. Exile Island, nothing to talk about. The Baylor and Alec little situation, I honestly can't tell where I stand on it, because on the one hand, I think Alec is kidding with Baylor. On another hand, I think he is being harsh on her, but on another hand, I think that they both like each other. On another hand, I just... yeah, that was just strange. It's a bit of a bummer we can't get some more information on that, and we're gonna have to wait for a while, but by the time one of them gets voted out, we'll have completely forgotten about this scene. Yeah, that's kind of annoying. It could be in one of the secret scenes. I haven't seen all of them. I probably should. Okay. Then there was the whole fiasco on Hunapu. We got into the hidden idol thingy. Well, Keith not finding it, I was like, what the heck, dude? You had an incredibly explicit clue, the same thing with Jeremy, and neither of you were able to find it. What? You kidding me? That clue is one of the most explicit clues in the history of Survivor, and you can't find it. For crying out loud, Rocker found it. And he doesn't really know much about this show. That was kind of ridiculous. Although he later finds it, but by then I'm just like, whatever, even though it did kind of make it interesting that one of Keith and Jeremy found it, and then Keith trying to say that Jeremy has the idol. Well, I'll admit, from Keith's perspective, it did make sense, okay? But from a viewer's perspective, I really do think that Keith handled it wrongly. But this is where I'm going to kind of join a few of the commenters and say that Keith's mind is kind of a little bit out wacko, because Keith really did not understand the consequences of his actions in this episode, because the way he was talking to everybody at camp and then the way he was behaving at tribal, yeah, he totally did not expect the ramifications of that, and it's going to be interesting to see if it comes back to bite him in some way later on, or if he does pretty much the exact same thing that he did here. And, oh yeah, I forgot to mention about, actually, wait a second. What I was going through my mind just there was, what would have happened had Jacqueline gotten the clue to the idol. I mean, like, it would have been the same clue, but this means that there was a potential for, her to receive a clue for the idol back in the same place. That's, a little strange. Unless they flat out didn't rehide it. I don't know. We still don't have an answer on that, so we'll find out, I think. Maybe. Okay. What else was there to mention? Oh, and I looked into one of the secret scenes, and then Reed's decision to tell what Keith told him to a couple of other people, along with Jeremy. Well, he just felt like it. It seems to be his only reason. And based on his performance this episode, I gotta admit, I'm thinking a little bit less of him, because I was thinking that he would kind of be a little bit on par with Josh, not completely, but, have a little bit of something, but so far he hasn't demonstrated that yet, and it's kind of disappointing, because I like Josh so far, but his other half, The immunity challenge, well, Drew ended up throwing it, and I'm amazed that nobody tried to actually stop him. And it's another case where had the tribe that threw the challenge actually been trying, they would have won, because the challenge that Drake threw, they would have won that challenge had they actually been trying. Zapatera and Redemption Island, they would have won that episode 3 challenge, There you go. It's just another example of that happening. Then everyone gets back to camp, and then tensions fly over. Drew starts saying, oh yeah, we should talk to Kelly. She's like the mastermind. She's seen every episode. Oh, whoop-de-whoop. I've seen actually the entire season for 24 out of 29 seasons of Survivor. I don't remember some of them clearly, so you could potentially apply that logic to me. And I would personally suck at Survivor, okay? Sheesh. Watching a lot of episodes of reality TV does not guarantee that you're going to be good at the show. Okay? That was just stupid. And then, John trying to talk about voting out Julie, his reasoning is that, Castor as well number pairs, and that is kind of what Tyson was going for, but you gotta remember that Tyson's alliance in, the original Blood for Swallow originally included Sierra and Laura. So, whatever. And the whole argument of if it's better to keep someone who has a loved one versus not, honestly, is kind of stupid. Just play the game, okay? And that everyone else thinking about getting rid of Drew, well, yeah, given how arrogant that guy is, and how obvious, if you really think about it, he wasn't doing good at that challenge, because the way Drew acted in these last few episodes, you would think he'd be gun-ho about it, and if he was really serious about this, he, would ask for some encouragement. Here, he's just like, oh yeah, give me that win, oh yeah. So, I really should have been sure that it was Drew going, but at Tribal, the editing, even though it had been hinting up to this point that Hanapu was going to lose, and that Drew was going to be voted out, actually managed to confuse me enough that I really couldn't tell who was going. But when Drew went, I was like, whew, what an idiot. And, I'm seriously considering taking Eric off Dumbest Survivor Ever and putting Drew there, because not only did Drew make a couple of boneheaded moves with the social cap life, he threw a challenge and got voted out, kind of like Burton did, but Drew here was a lot more certain to go than Burton, and he also has potential to get rid of a lot of his other tribe mates to be voted out in later episodes, because even though I know that there's a swap next episode, there was enough tension, partially caused by him, created within that tribe that it could actually continue. That'll be interesting. And if you're wondering why I'm saying that Drew is dumber than JT in this situation when he did most of the things that Drew has done, simple. No one in HVV had seen Russell's gameplay. So I have to put a huge asterisk next to JT being done with Survivor ever, and along with Russell's performance in HVV. I do the same thing with Malcolm and Caramel, because people hadn't seen him play. They had seen Amanda and James for Micronesia. I thought I had one other point that I wanted to mention. Oh yeah, and is Tyson done with it, JT? Yes, because anybody could have replaced Russell in that same situation and gotten Tyson to do what he did. Okay? Yeah. So that ends this episode. It was a good one. Hanapu exploded like I thought they would, but it was actually a lot of fun to see, even though it is kind of stupid. And it goes to show that even though I claim that they were probably the better tribe back in the first episode, this episode has revealed that they're not that much better, to be honest. They just managed to win the challenges, you know. We'll see how it goes. And even though I'm sure you all know this, I'll review who voted for who. Drew got the votes of all the women, along with Jeremy, who voted with this rather than this. Drew voted for Kelly, but that was obvious. John was actually the one who wrote Keith, and then Keith and Reed end up voting for Julie, which is a little bit ridiculous, especially on Reed's part. Like, what's his merit? I mean, like, Keith is a little bit up here, so, you know, it's odd. So the swap next episode, well, this is the time to do it, I think, with the amount of castaways left and when you could potentially merge at, but at the same time I'm disappointed because there was a possibility Hunapu would have lost the next immunity after this, and that would have been interesting. But I'm really hoping that this swap is going to add a lot more complexity to this game and make it even more interesting. But here's one problem. You can't do a random swap here. Why? Because if you're going to do a random swap, that creates the possibility of loved ones being on the same tribe. So what you do with the hero arena doesn't work. Now you could theoretically put yourself against somebody from the other tribe, but that's a possibility of one tribe selecting the stronger member against a weaker one, or it could be both tribes decide for themselves, you know, but I'm just saying this swap has the potential to really impact that twist. So I'd like to see how they resolve that. Anything else to mention? Honestly, I don't think there's really anything else to mention except what's the deal with CBS taking forever to get the after show vid up and AfterBuzz TV from producing the video for this episode. I actually uploaded this video either before or just when that video went up, you know, so I'm ahead of the game for once, you know? Come on.